Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities, work our way through the dollar, yields, precious metals, and commodities and ETFs that this guy follows. If you need any help with anything, check out finding-value.com. We still have the coupon code going on, LEAP, LEAP. You get 50% off the first month, only the first month on the monthly membership. Try it out, and then you get a larger discount on the yearly membership if you'd like to sign up for a year. So we have a 5 p.m. question and answer session coming up this weekend for a question and answer session where you can interact directly with me and ask me questions. I also have a presentation I'm going to give on the macro setup of how I view this setup in oil, and then also the macro view of kind of what's going on, fiscal spending and monetary and all that stuff. So let's dive in here. Let's see what's going on today in the markets. We've got a weaker dollar. And again, weaker dollar, weaker yields, all kind of intertwined together. So we had a weaker dollar, but down 0.4%. That's going to help us with our commodities that are priced in, you know what, they're priced in dollars. So as this falls, you're going to see emerging markets potentially strengthen. You'll probably see precious metals could strengthen, copper could strengthen, a lot of things could strengthen under a declining dollar. That also occurred in 2002, which was a bull market in commodities. It's this guy here where we had a big weakening of the dollar all the way to 2008. And we had a kind of a bottoming process till 2011 before we started working our way up. So from 2002, we had a very big dump in the DXY. The bottom of our commodity to stock ratio bottomed here in 99. We had a strengthening dollar with increasing interest rates. Then we had a declining interest rate environment and a decline in the dollar. It seems like a very similar setup to what we have today, where we had a bottom. So we had a bottom of the ratio somewhere in 2020. We had the dollar kind of weakened. We had increasing interest rates strengthen. And then we have a nice kind of weakening going on here of the dollar. And maybe we potentially go lower in this dollar. Could this be a potential, almost like a shoulder, head, shoulder, where we come on down? Maybe, but it's not a clear neckline. Not clean, but we'll see. We've got the 2-year yield basically moving sideways today. So the short end of the curve, relatively stable today. We've got the 10-year dropping a little bit. Momentum's to the downside. That's going to help our gold prices. If we back out a little bit, is this a potential uh, inverted flag pattern? And are we breaking this to the downside? We very well could be. So I do think that we could see this fall for the 10-year for whatever reason. And maybe we get back to this general location. And that's kind of what we've been projecting for a little while here. The weaker yields could lead to precious metals working their way on up. TYX is also heading lower. This is the 30-year yield, and yields are falling on the long end of the curve. And to me, it looks like if I kind of clean this up a little bit so you guys aren't looking at all this garbage here, it looks like to me that we could have, let me put a decent thing here, like we're basically breaking out to the downside of a little squeeze here of a flag pattern that we could be breaking here just recently. Maybe we've got further downside to go, and maybe that's going to help our precious metals go up even more. And one of the reasons why they're going up. If we back out, this is what it looks like from a larger picture view, and we could fall quite a bit lower. And this could be an A, B, C correction somewhere like in here, wherever it ends up being. So think of it as an ABC correction, big selling pressure, the weak move higher, and I think this will eventually work its way lower. Gold's going to move up in this type of environment, and I'm sure the rest of the metals. QIX TNX ratio is still inverted and compressed, very low down here. This is a good opportunity for gold. You guys have heard me say this before. Good opportunity to buy here, 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 and this is going to be no No time different. I think it'll uninvert to some degree, come on up, maybe much like 2002. Now 2002, we had 2000 came on up, and then you can see 2002 is about right here. And then the dollar started to weaken. We came back in interest rates, and then we came back up again. I think something like this is going to occur again. So we could, I'm guessing here, guys. Remember, I don't have this 100% right. I'm just guessing. I think something like a move on up, and maybe like this could come back and then work our way on up. Something like that could occur. We'll see what that looks like. And here's your ABC correction too. Big selling pressure, halfway pattern selling pressure. And I think that's occurring in a lot of the interest rates at this exact moment and the dollar. TLT, we are right at support and it is moving on up. And that also signifies yields going lower and bond prices potentially going higher for a period of time. And then the US 2-year, 10-year is still inverting further. It's still inverting. So as yields have been dropping, the short end of the curve has remained pretty stable and the long end has been dropping. Interesting, I know. I know. So this is going to keep the yield curve inverted. So looking at gold, gold's just ripping. We're up today, ripping again. A lot of the times you get a return move. I don't know if we're going to get this return move or what, but we've been ripping to the upside for gold. Silver's looking really good, up 1.7%. We're right at that trend line. And that trend line, there's the trend line from the peak of 2011 coming on down. We're right there, guys. Is this the beginning of the monster break where we've got the cup and handle pattern here? And are we going to break it right here? Is this the beginning of that big move? I don't know. It sure feels like it. It sure seems like it. It sure looks like it. We haven't, I mean, we're basically breaking out right now. So let's find out. Lots of opportunities to buy silver companies because no one gives a crap about them. And if silver breaks here, it's going to be one heck of an opportunity for everyone to participate in this. And I just released the midweek update. And I gave you my opinions on some silver companies to take advantage of exactly what we're seeing right here today, and kind of a plan of what I'm doing to accumulate. And I've already accumulated some shares at some bottoms here, and some physical metals. You got that right. Platinum ripping 2.8% today. Big bullish engulfing these candlesticks before it, guys. Very big move. And let's hope this is a beginning of a much larger, bigger picture move in platinum. Platinum's been meandering sideways, is what I'll call it. So here's your 1, 2, 3 consolidation. This is your big moves higher here, and hopefully we can get a big move out of this. And hopefully this is an accumulation cylinder. It sure looks like one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe is the accumulation cylinder. We'll see. And then palladium also just a monster day today, up 11% today, breaking out of this resistance line to the upside. This looks like a bottom to me. It feels like a bottom. We got short covering here. We've got another short covering move here and another one today. To me, this is accumulation and short covering occurring. We're right on top of the big long-term support level, which is this white line here going across. It may take some time still to bottom out. I get it, but let's see if we can get a move here. And again, you guys know if you're part of the website, I've been buying certain companies in platinum group metals. XAU to gold ratio, we are higher today. Maybe we get a return move here before heading higher in the gold and silver mining companies in relationship to gold. Maybe we get a little bit of a pullback before heading higher. But guys, this is a really cheap opportunity. Is this the slingshot that we're looking for that brought us down into this kind of slingshot and then move higher? We haven't broken the big long-term downtrend line. I call that the need to break this line for happiness move. But we're getting warmer. as the physical metals start to heat up. CRB index, we are slightly higher today, 0.83%. Looks good to continue on higher. We need to get oil to finish and strong, to finish strong with a strong closing. We had a little bit of a weak closing in crude oil today, but again, it was still up. I'd like to see a little bit stronger price action, but we're moving up in the CRB index. Let's see if this thing can really start to move to the upside and start maybe that third wave that we've been waiting for. CRB to S&P 500 is outperforming for the consumer or the CRB index, so that's looking good. And we could see a move higher where we could outperform the S&P 500. Fingers crossed. GDX is up a little bit. We're up against resistance. Could we see a little bit of selling pressure? It is possible. We kind of came up to this. Maybe we come back and loop back around like that. This would be a good spot to be looking if it does something like that. GDXJ also right up against resistance. So we gotta start punching through these things, but it looks good from a longer term perspective. So, this is really, really close, guys, because a lot of your resistance is through here. Look, your closing prices and stuff. Looks really good. And SILJ also looking good, ready to pop to the upside if it can. Looks very strong. We're right up against some resistance, so we might loop back around before breaking to the upside. Crude oil up 1.22%. We had a real strong day going. I was getting uber bullish because, look at this move here, guys. I thought we were going to finish real strong. We did turn around the corner and we did come back, do some cooling off for the closing. So still looking good. We're still on top of support, but we don't have the strong finish yet over 80, which is a psychological level, what I'll call it. TTF down a little bit. We're up against resistance. Okay, big deal. We've got natural gas in America, a little bit of selling pressure. Could this kind of maybe come back and do something like that? It very well could. We're doing the whole bottoming process. Be patient. But this is a killer value down here. Killer value down here. Absolute steal. Our boy XOP, yeah, you know me. A little bit of selling pressure. A little bit disappointing that we haven't really been launching and the money flows haven't been hitting XOP yet. So maybe they're just waiting for a breakout in oil to see if this move is legit, but we haven't gotten the money flows. It was a flat day today. It looked good at some point, but pretty much we're waiting for money flows to come in. Shoulder, head, shoulder potentially. And maybe the breakout will occur and we have an awesome move to the upside. But not much buying pressure today. OIH was getting going a little bit towards, the highs when crude oil was above 80, but it cooled off throughout the day and it cooled off. We're still, again, broken down trend line. It looks good. Hope for a big move to the upside here if oil can get its butt moving. Profitable Uranium Trust, we still have downside momentum. This isn't a bottoming reversal candlestick here that we got today. So is there more downside? There could be. Not a reversal candlestick here, unfortunately. URA up a little bit today. But again, could there be more downside in this? We've got a battle between the buyers and sellers going on. The way that I view this is it kind of looks something like this. And we entered it from the top side down, which means we could see further downside is possible. I know people don't like hearing that, but it's still possible. We've got a bearish piercing here and no reversal of that bearish piercing yet. Be patient. We have momentum downward and then we're kind of squeezing up right now. We'll see what occurs. URNM, it's the same situation. Bearish piercing here. We do have a bullish piercing there. They're fighting each other, but we've got downside momentum coming behind it. Is this a continuation pattern? We'll find out. Be patient here. URNJ also up against resistance. We had a rejection of that resistance there, that big bearish piercing pattern. We gave it a try here with this bullish piercing. So we came on up with or bullish engulfing, sorry. We came on up, got rejected off that, and now we don't have basically any response yet. So the momentum's still this way. Momentum's this way, and we're squeezing up against this pattern here. We could fall out to the downside for a further correction. And this could be kind of like an A, B, C correction, maybe. Tan, just moving sideways. It likes the weaker dollar, weaker yields, probably yields more so. Copper also liking the weaker yields. We're up trying to break out of this thing. We're right on that resistance line. If we get a break to the upside, I can't even say that. Hallelujah. I can't even say that. But we're right up against resistance. Hopefully we can break. We're just watching it, and it's a good setup. We have a nice little bullish engulfing here. We do have some selling pressure towards the end of the day. If it looks at it from the short term here, came on up, but we sold back off. So we could see, maybe a full retest or something like that, or heading higher. COPX was up 3.7%. People are buying the diversified mining companies. This sometimes you see this go up before the breakout of copper sometimes. So we had good positioning, 3.7% higher in the copper miners. And I find it really hard for myself to kind of see copper actually break to the downside. We would have to have some really weak data or a recession for that to occur because we've got supply tightness coming up. Lithium up 2.9%. It's looking better, but we still have large selling pressure in front of that. So I don't know if that's reversed yet. I would be patient. I think this is probably trying to put in a bottom here at some point. We've got REMX also up quite a bit, and the support line is holding that I drew in there, that awesome straight support line. We came in and it's going to hold perhaps. So we'll watch that one. SPX is up 0.5%, still in the pattern, still in the rising wedge. And NASDAQ still in the rising wedge as well. I'm looking for a move lower, so we'll see. Rising wedges generally break to the downside, generally. Carry, this is a bullish setup, in my opinion. I call it a bloody nose, so it's still good to go to the upside. We're right up against this awesome resistance level. Oh, right there. Go. We're up against that resistance level. Emerging markets up 1.45%, likes the weaker dollar, likes the lower yields. XHB also likes the lower yields, weaker dollar, and non-higher. We've got MOO that also likes weaker dollar, weaker yields. We've got a nice little kind of consolidation here, a little bit of resistance. It almost looks like a shoulder, head, shoulder potentially. Maybe we can break, get out of here, in that bottoming pattern or something like that. Iron ore, I think it'll work its way on up, close this gap perhaps, and then we'll see what occurs when it gets there. Aluminum, a little bit of selling pressure, but I do think this will work its way on up. Broken down trend line, doesn't look too bad. I don't know how legit this broken down trend line is. The downtrend line might be more like this, like that. If I were to guess, we could get a 1 hump, 2 hump, 3 hump, something like that, maybe. Baltic Dry Index down a little bit, but still looks fantastic to move higher. Okay. Newcastle Coal Futures down a little bit, 1.5%, but this is bottoming, just like natural gas and oil and all the rest. Bitcoin still looking strong, up 5.5% roughly. And again, is this a reversal candlestick here? It kind of looks like it. So let's see what a couple more trading sessions look like. If this is still going to go up, it's going to rip. If we get big rejection candlesticks like a bearish engulfing, we could head lower. So let's see what it looks like first. And then Ethereum up 8.5%. So we had the weird candlestick yesterday and just blew through that like it was nothing. So Ethereum still looks fantastic. Momentum's definitely to the upside for Ethereum. And then the super microcomputer. I'm just looking at this. We got kind of a squeeze up, a nice little move higher. We've got all these gaps all over the place. It gapped higher in the morning and then sold off down to the downside. It looks like this, but gapped up in the morning. I'm losing my bearings here. Let me back out again. Gapped up in the morning, sold off, the momentum's to the downside. We've got NVIDIA Video is continuing to go up. This has got to be the blow off phase, guys. We're at 2.22 trillion market cap. I guess maybe we should just keep going up so Nvidia will be larger than everything in the world. Look at that thing go up, guys. That's pretty vertical. Now, one thing that we look at is you want to buy off these big consolidation periods. Like this is a good spot to be looking. That's your breakout point to buy, and then you want to hold it all the way through this. That's my type or style of investing. I do not take new entry points up here. That's where all your risk reward is the best when you got a broken pattern right here. Then you want to ride it. Just ride it, ride it, ride it, ride it, ride it, ride it, ride it. Or the bull market. Your risk reward changes as this goes up, but people get excited here because it goes up fastest towards the end. So that's where your risk reward is the worst. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for patterns that are breaking these basically down here. This is the pattern that we are putting in. You guys want to know in a lot of commodity stocks. What a lot of people do is they think that this is like a shoulder. This is up here, so they think it's a shoulder, head, shoulder, but it's really a lead-in pattern that I've noticed. You get this kind of lead-in pattern, and right now we're at a lot of companies that are right about here in drilling, in other stocks that are out there, and we're buying positions here or here. Some of them, like dry bulk shipping, are probably located. If you put this like this, they're located like right up here for dry bulk shipping or just before it. And we're coming up to resistance levels. It's a little bit more horizontal though, where we're coming up to these big long-term resistance levels. And once you break them, you go in from basically a stage one basing pattern into a stage two break. So that's some of the stuff I do cover. But no, understanding and knowing where you're at in this cycle is incredibly valuable. And you want to go where the value is. At least that's my opinion. I don't chase these things higher. I just don't get involved. If you don't know how to value something, I don't get involved. And then if I can value something and it's cheap, starting to try to bottom out, start buying it. And I bottom it and then I ride it the entire, probably next decade or so of this commodity bull market that's coming. So, um, yeah, if you're interested in that type of approach, definitely sign up for finding-value.com. I'm going over a big kind of macro presentation this weekend. Uh, it should be pretty fun. You should learn a lot. You are definitely going to understand my view of the market at this time, listening to that big presentation. So, um, that's all I've got for today. We'll catch you later. This is Finding Value.